Okay, so next up is Last Night in Soho, starring Anya Taylor-Joy and Thomasin McKenzie. First off, I have to just apologise if I did notice in my Halloween Kills review there was like bits of dust. I do clean in here, must just stress that. But there's sometimes like bits of dust just whizzing about as if I have a phantom ejaculator in here, which sounds incredibly wrong. But yeah, apologies if you see sort of jizz fireworks. It's nuts. It's just the tiniest bit of dust just goes flying across like a shooting star or a shooting sperm. Anyway, right, Last Night in Soho. I'll move on quickly. Intoxicating, basically. I think I can sum it up in one word. Very nostalgic for those growing up in the 1960s, and largely familiar for those who actually haunt Soho regularly as well. Pause here, side note. I've got a little bit of a practice thing going on. So I've just discovered you can sort of screen share photos and things. So I've got a little bit of a Soho photo album of my own. It's all very exciting. Bit of a treat for you guys, but a bit of a practice for me, I suppose. So that's coming up in a bit. Yeah, brace yourselves. And yeah, so Last Night in Soho, it reminded me of when I first discovered Soho, so I could largely relate to the character, I suppose, in this story. I remember, I mean, personal experience of Soho. When I first ever went out, I was just everything, all my senses were just completely taken over by the vibe, the atmosphere. Dressed up, exquisite people, drinking glasses and champagne corks popping and everything. I'm not saying Soho is the elite of the exquisite life and all the rest of it, but it was quite daunting going out for the first time. How this little, like the pumping music and the social atmosphere, it was like this little pocket of London acted as a generator and just blitzed like the surrounding areas. It gave it all its energy. So yeah, this one reminds me very much of my first time in Soho, I suppose. I wouldn't watch it again. It's not that exciting, but for a combined sort of time travel murder mystery thing, it does deliver, and it keeps you guessing till the end. Yeah, I will always remember. Oh, fuck it. Shall I just do the photos now? I'll have a look. So I remember when I first went out in Soho, it was 2008, I think, and a girl that I worked with, she basically asked me to meet up with her in central London. So I did. And yeah, once we'd done, she basically fucked off and left me on my own in a bar. I was so drunk that I remember leaving the bar and I stumbled across the street, and I was just off my face. It sounds very pleasant, doesn't it? But yeah, I stumbled across the street and I tripped up a curb and just smashed into this like a group of people, one of whom became a girl or a woman now who I'm still very much in touch with. So right, let's see if this works. I want to try this. Are you seeing this on screen? Yeah, me with my, oh God, that's hideous. Like fish fin hair and my Primark t-shirt. Lovely. So yeah, this was our first time. I remember Lady Gaga, Poker Face, around that sort of time, if you remember what you were doing, is when I met this girlie. So yeah, we became incredibly close as time went on, a bit too close, if I'm honest. I think as our sort of going out, we were sort of going out buddies, and we developed this relationship where we would just jump on the train. She was up in North London, I was down in Sussex at the time, and we were both meet in the middle, as most people do in London, and we just had this absolutely fantastic time. It was just, where I lived at the time was shit, basically. It's really boring, and going out in Soho was like going on holiday for one night. It was excellent. It was so much fun. And yeah, excuse the eyebrows. Jesus. We had a ball. We really did. It was just smiles aplenty, drinks aplenty. We were meeting all these random people. Yeah, it was excellent. Then it started to get kind of messy. So the more we went out, you can see here, I think, Jesus, yeah, like sort of piggy faced and sweating. It started to get really messy. Sometimes we had like blinding nights that were just a mixture of all different people. Like I said, it was like being on holiday. And I would wake up in the morning and have to like go shopping for a new bed set if I felt really like hungover. There we are. For those of you across the pond, you can see a bit of the London Underground tube sign. This is good, actually. This is a great practice shot. So excuse me, obviously, if I veered away from the review. I'm coming back to last night in Soho, but this is my night in Soho at the moment. So yeah, it's just when you look back at these things, I'll tell you, it's not. Yeah, so there we go. Oh, there we are again. Yeah, it got wild. Wet and wild. Actually, that's the wrong thing to say. Not wet. Just yeah. Right. So yeah. Let me just barrel on swiftly. No, shit. That's the same one. Bear with me a second. Yeah. So this was around 2008, 2009 time. I had just an absolute ball. It was just brilliant. I remember. Yeah, by Luciana and Body Rockers. That was that was one of the songs that stands out for me as my first time in Soho, because I was in this bar and it was all like glistening, like great big chandeliers hanging from the ceiling, the staircases, the wallpaper, everything was so exquisite, apart from my arse, obviously. Oh shit. Just absolute whale of a time. Yeah, and when I met this girl, like I say, so it all started with being left on my own in a bar, and then just left to my own devices. I bump into this girl in the street who becomes a going out buddy, and yeah, whatever that is, buddy. So yeah, just superb. So right, okay, I'll come back to that. So I think I know where I got up to. That was quite fun, actually, testing that. Right, so that was those nights in Soho. As for last night in the Soho, that was really bizarre. I was trying to fill the gaps there. It was nuts. I can only imagine what they do on bloody live TV. Set and cinematography. So basically, it was blinding, literally, blinding lights. When Thomasin McKenzie's character, Eloise, arrives into central London, she's in a black cab and she goes into Piccadilly Circus, where Eros stands. The great big advertisement, I should say fucking ginormous advert boards that most of you, if you're familiar with London, you'll know you literally do not need the moon itself. You don't need lights. Those boards just completely, it's like daylight. It's brilliant. It just really swirls around you as you're watching it. So it's yeah, you've got the big neon signs. A scene that stands out for me as well is when Eloise, I think she's on Shaftesbury Avenue. Again, I frequented it quite a lot. It's she crosses a road towards this big like theatre, and they're all lined up, with the bulbs all surrounding them. It's such a 1960s, the costume, the vibe, it's all going on. It's absolutely, it's quite intoxicating. It really is. So she crosses the road and these doormen open the doors. Obviously, they're doormen to the theatre place that she goes into, where she meets Anya Taylor-Joy's character. And it's quite ironic, actually, because Thomasin McKenzie is in Jojo Rabbit, and Madame Jojo's is one of the famous it's shut down now, but some famous bars in Soho. I don't know if it's just me who's made that link. When you make a link in a film like that, and you wonder if the producers, it's even crossed their mind. I mean, if it hasn't, I feel amazing. So yeah, and it's like I say, you just cannot go wrong. The glossy sort of clarity to the screen and the neon lights. Anya Taylor-Joy is amazing as always. When isn't she? She's dolled up to the eyes. Literally, she looks like a doll in one of her dance scenes, and she's got this sumptuous makeup and quite minimal sort of dress, but still really quite exquisite and just of the time, basically. It's great. You've got the you know, the hoop earrings and beehive hairdos for the women. Obviously, the men are in their tuxes, you know, pipes and holding cocktail glasses. It's all very. Oh, I can almost, you know, sense the sort of scent of tobacco. It was excellent. Diana Rigg as creepy landlady, brilliant, and the twist involving her at the end was excellent. I kind of saw it coming, but I also didn't. That also stands out for me because she's the landlady on of an apartment on Goodge Street, which is proper right in the middle of London. I think it's around sort of Tottenham Court Road, Warren Street, that sort of area. So it's all very bustling and busy, especially at night when Eloise is in bed. And she, you know, there's the whole sort of flashing neon light outside the window that's repeatedly going off. I can't fault it. I'm sure there's a more technical word for the colouring in a film. I can't quite think of it off the top of my head, but it's brilliant. It really is. So, right, let me move on quickly because I'm already at 11 minutes. The action overall is half and half. At points, Last Night in Soho is quite dull and very talky, especially when it slows down when Matt Smith's character appears. But then it is quite a sort of emotional, in-depth story. There's people standing around being Londoners, as always, sort of chatting interestingly about themselves, as a lot of Londoners do, or topics that directly involve them. But the film picks up when the murder mystery sort of element kicks in. So Eloise, the lead character, if you didn't know by now, she kind of knows who she's supposed to be going after, but she has a hard time pinning him down. And the film sort of spirals into this, it's like, I can only describe it as a time travel murder mystery. It's quite dreamlike in a sense, how it's actually, how it's staged. It's quite gripping to see if she's actually got the right guy. I'm trying not to give a lot of the story away here, but yeah, it develops into this whole race against time, which is quite decent. One bit that does stand out for me is when she goes to bed and she pulls. So this is the protagonist. She pulls her duvet over her in hopes of being transported back to the 1960s, this world that she's suddenly become part of. And it's great. It was almost like a time traveling bed or something. I don't know. No, I'm thinking Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That's the complete opposite. No, it's, I don't know, Nightmare on Elm Street. Is there a scene where someone like sort of, you know, they pull the duvet over and then they deep sort of tunnel down into a world? I don't know, but it's excellent. This is definitely worth a watch, even just for the cinematography. Like I say, the colouring in the film, the neon lights, the costumes, and the setting, and the fact that most of it's at night really, really feeds it. It's great. So would I watch it again? Probably not. Once you've seen it once, I think once is enough. There is. Oh, that's the point. Yeah. Also, Thomasin McKenzie sounds like she's going to piss herself through the film. This isn't a direct piss take, you know, at the actress, but she literally, she's like, she ends half her time. You know, you really need the toilet. Really, really need the loo. You're like, oh my god, yeah. Can you the door open, please? I really need the toilet. She's a bit like that. She's sort of, I mean, it's her voice, I suppose, but it's like she sounds like she's holding in the biggest piss ever. It's. I mean, yeah, it's not a sort of not a complete downer in the overall film, but just thought I'd point that out in case you did wonder what was happening. Right, so let me just check here. I wouldn't watch it again, but for what it is, it certainly delivers, and it is the whole time travel, murder mystery aspect that got me. It just, as I was sat there, it just captured everything came flooding back, everything. So my first time in Soho, being on my own, holding drinks. I say holding, I was spilling most of the time. The dark nights, the people dressed up and swanky or laughing and joking, the pumping music. Like I say, the generator. Soho is probably the generator of central London. Yeah, it was great. It really engulfed me, shall I say. And it captures the atmosphere. It really does. Are there any down points to it? Let me just so I'm going off the top of my head here because I've mostly noted the positives. The only thing I can say is it's as mentioned, it's sort of dull and talky at points. Another negative might be in the trailer. You've got Eloise and Sandy, Anya Taylor-Joy's character. The trailer makes it look more smashing through from one world to another than it is. Do you know? It makes it look more sort of stepping between boundaries than it actually is on screen when you're watching it. That's the main thing. So no more positives. No more negatives. Positives, give it a go if you're into the sort of whole fashion industry. The aspect of the underlying subject of mental health throughout really is quite interesting. So it blends the gritty story and how the feeling of isolation in a massive city can come together. It's a sense of sort of exquisite dread, and so if you're into those sort of psychological horrors, definitely give it a go. Right, let me see if I can faff around here and practice even more. Bear with me 2 seconds here, please. Right, okay, where did I get up to? Let's see. Oh, fuck me. No, not that one. Right. Okay. So yeah, like I say, Soho is one of those areas that it just swarms and swarms, and once you're sort of immersed in it, you just can't put it down. I found myself sort of traveling backwards and forwards continuously, and I was absolutely loving it. I couldn't have spent more time there if I wanted to, and I probably did. In the end, though, that's my friend who I met trying to get into a fire truck. That's a Central London fireman truck. So we would just have so much fun. We would hijack stuff as well. So there is that. Might sound a bit weird. So let me just have a look here. There's a picture where we hijacked a guy who was busking at the time. It sounds horrific, doesn't it? But there we go. So yeah, her and her handbag, that went everywhere with us. Oh God, have you ever had those times where you meet someone and it's the relationship? I mean, we did everything but getting jiggy, I suppose you could call it. We were like a married couple without the sex. So imagine that, or not, if you will. And it was excellent. And this sort of evolved into this whole relationship of I would spend my weekends at her house and we'd have movie nights and things. In the end, though, it became like that. Oh, God, that's a meatball and cheese Subway. Nice. It became so like repetitive. You just visit the same places and see the same people again and again. That the fun and the sort of the infectious addiction to experiencing the same thing and these type things just become stale. And in the end, I gave up drinking, really. Yeah, it was like holiday times. There I am with a Corona. It's ironic. And massive eyebrows. Oh, gee whiz. So yeah, excellent times. Very excellent times. Oh, fuck. Oh, jeez. Oh, he's a handsome chap, isn't he? Yeah, I had some very excellent times, actually. Right. So yeah, the buzz wore off, and when I go into Soho these days, it's literally just for a quick coffee, I think. It's just going back, it's just not the same. I think as you get older, you learn that, well, lollipops and Lady Gaga don't really go hand in hand anymore. I'm more green beans and Brussels sprouts on a Tuesday night. Thank you very much. So yeah, oh, fuck, let me just get that one off. But yeah, you meet some wild and wacky people in central London, and I'm glad I experienced it. It was incredible. So I'm just going back through these pictures here. Oh, look, how sweet. Right, give me 2 seconds. Everybody give me 2 seconds, if you will. Right. And actually, yes, yeah, there's a photo here that's kind of strange. Oh God, I remember these two. Holy shiz. Right, let me see if I can get this on to 2 seconds. God, this is amazing looking back. Okay, so obviously, yeah, log off if you like at this point. All right, this is the end of the review. But I'm having fun here trying to. Right, can you see this? Jesus. Oh, yeah, that was nuts. That was a few years later, but God, it was great being between those two. Jesus. I mean, as in the photo, not right. Yeah. So let's see. I am just going to upload one of the last pictures. What do I have here? Now, this is obviously probably not interesting to you guys, but it is for me because I'm practicing this whole upload picture things. P.S. I do not smoke. I just somehow, what was I doing? I must have, when it came to taking like a slick hip, yeah, man, look at me. I don't think I talk like that when I'm drunk. Yeah, but I was like, yeah, look at me. Always having a cigarette and scowling. Like, so having a fag hanging out your mouth and with a scowl just makes you look that little bit more, well, butch, I suppose. But yeah, those two, Jesus, I met them in a doorway. I met many people in doorways for some reason. But yeah, that was the whole, and that's the whole thing though of Soho, because it's a whole mix of theatres and bars on one main street and then Shaftesbury Avenue on the other. Anyone is everyone. So if you are going to London, if you do go to central London, yeah, do have fun, do enjoy. I obviously did, but yeah, I don't do any of this anymore. Looking back, however, I just feel I really feel that. Oh my God, I really feel that. Yeah, my hair, I had hair and eyebrows and scarves. Nuts. So yeah, I can feel it. Right, so quick a quick roundup. Last night in Soho, intoxicating, colourful, suffocating, psychological horror that will have you guessing to the end. Time travel blends, murder mystery, that kind of thing. The downside is it is kind of boring, especially in the club scene when it comes to Matt Smith and Sandy. But as always, Anya Taylor-Joy, she delivers. She really does. I don't think I've seen anything that Anya's been in that she hasn't brought a proper, just a force of nature to. She's quite excellent. And time is excellent, which I have used up or wasted, depends how you see it, a lot of. I'm going. That was Last Night in Soho. I'm Ricky. Thank you for watching. That's it.